A formal statement expresses appreciation to the people of a European region, particularly a historic city and an organization dedicated to remembrance, for continuing to honor those who lost their lives in past conflicts. This reflects the long-standing tradition of royal figures participating in acts of commemoration and public gratitude. Attention then shifts to reports circulating within royal circles, suggesting that a senior member of the extended royal family may have made an important private declaration near the end of his life. According to sources familiar with the family, this individual reportedly expressed a preference regarding the future of a highly valuable and historically significant collection of royal jewels. Specifically, it is claimed that these items should be passed to the current Princess of Wales rather than to the present consort of the monarch. This reported statement has led to speculation about internal divisions and uncertainty within the royal household. Observers note that the situation remains unclear, with no official confirmation and limited public response. The matter is described as sensitive, involving both personal wishes and institutional considerations. To understand the importance of this claim, it is necessary to consider the background of the individual involved. He is a senior figure within the royal family, born in the mid-1930s, and closely related to the core line of succession. As a grandchild of a former monarch and a first cousin to a long-reigning sovereign, his position places him firmly within the central structure of the royal institution. His relationship with the previous monarch is described as both familial and personal, shaped by shared experiences during childhood and maintained throughout their lives. This long-standing connection contributes to the perceived weight of any private views he may have expressed. Over many decades, he has carried out official duties on behalf of the monarchy, including representing national interests abroad and attending numerous ceremonial events. His role as a patron of a major national sports organization for over half a century has also contributed to his public recognition. His reputation is characterized by steady, dignified service rather than involvement in controversy. Because of this reputation, any mention of a strong private view regarding the succession of family assets is taken seriously. The recent death of his spouse at an old age has refocused attention on their family's legacy, which includes both land and heirlooms. It is possible that during this moment of thought, he established his plans for the future of the family's jewelry collection. The fundamental question now is whether such wishes, if fully stated, will be honored or possibly reassessed in light of broader institutional interests. This raises concerns about how decisions are made within the royal household when personal preferences collide with history and procedure. The jewelry collection in question is considered one of the most historically significant private royal collections. It includes items from many generations of European monarchy, reflecting a centuries-long tradition. Among its most prominent features is a sapphire and diamond set whose origins may be traced back to a royal person associated with the court of a former British monarch. This collection was passed down through numerous generations before becoming affiliated with a princess who married into the family in the early 20th century. Known for her impact on royal fashion, she wore these pieces regularly during her life. After her death in the late 1960s, the gems were passed down to the next generation of the family. Parts of the collection were later apparently sold, which drew the attention of historians and royal heritage experts. Such moves have been seen as reflecting financial issues that can influence even members of the extended royal family. Despite these sales, large elements of the collection are thought to be intact. In addition to sapphires, the collection includes remarkable diamonds, historical pearl jewelry, and a well-known tiara with a fringe design. Some objects are also associated with Imperial Russian ancestry, having come into the family through ancestral connections to European royal houses with historical ties. Experts say the remaining collection is worth tens of millions of pounds. However, these objects are not just financially valuable, they are also historically irreplaceable. They serve as links to kingdoms that no longer exist, to royal ladies who mold European history, and to a pre-war aristocratic culture that has vanished forever. Whoever inherits these jewels gains more than simply wealth, they also obtain a live repository of royal civilization. According to the central theory in this account, the Duke of Kent may have decided in his final moments of authority who should be the future protector of that repository. The purported confession, what was stated, and to whom? Now we get to the heart of the matter. The suspicion about the Duke of Kent's supposed secret declaration did not appear out of nowhere. It arose following his wife's death, at a time when the Duke was said to be intensely reflective, confronting loss, contemplating his own legacy, and considering what might come after him. A story began to emerge among royal circles and commentators who carefully follow the Windsor family's inner dynamics. The claim, as reported in royal commentary, is this. The Duke of Kent voiced a clear and impassioned wish that the remaining Kent family jewels be passed on to Catherine, Princess of Wales, the lady who will one day sit alongside King William V as Queen of England, rather than Camilla, the current Queen Consort. Those who shared these tales regarded the framing as personal rather than institutional. It was about heritage, and the Duke believed that the woman embodied the principles and character that these ancient objects deserved. To be completely clear, no official royal source has verified this claimed declaration. There has been no public confirmation of this recorded remark or official legal document. What we're looking at here is a mix of royal commentary, insider speculation, and the actual context of a senior royal's last chapter. However, in the area of royal inheritance, informal preferences hold considerable weight. The late Queen Elizabeth was known to make private decisions about jewels, lending pieces, presenting pieces, and directing items that were honored out of deep respect for her personal authority rather than legal necessity. The true drama is whether the Duke of Kent commands the same respect, and whether others around him choose to honor or discreetly reject what he has spoken. Catherine against Camilla, the unspoken diamond hierarchy. Leaving aside the Duke of Kent's purported wishes, there is a very genuine and documented tension around the inheritance of royal treasure. Understanding this dynamic explains why discussion about it is so popular among royal aficionados worldwide. When Queen Elizabeth II died in September 2022, her remarkable personal jewelry collection, valued by some analysts at well than £1 billion, began to be passed down to future generations. The hierarchy in this approach was readily apparent. Camilla, as the Queen Consort, had first access to the collection. This is both protocol and a tradition. As the reigning king's wife, she has both the symbolic and institutional right to use this collection to carry out her constitutional duties. Royal experts, like Katie Nicholl, have declared unequivocally that the Queen Consort gets first choice. The Princess of Wales comes next, followed by the rest of them. However, the scenario becomes truly difficult. Catherine, adored by the British people and famed for her ability to wear historic royal jewels with grace and significance, will one day be queen. Nonetheless, she has had to navigate a structure that prioritizes Camilla over her. Although there is no indication of open enmity between the two ladies, the optics of this arrangement have never been appealing to a sector of royal watchers who regard Catherine as the monarchy's future, and Camilla as, at most, a transient figure. The Cambridge Lovers' Knot, a tiara traditionally associated with Diana, was returned to Catherine after a period of uncertainty, and the public reacted positively. The message was plain. The public regards Catherine as the legitimate heir to Diana's legacy, and thus to the Windsor women's greater symbolic inheritance. Against this backdrop, the idea that a senior royal, such as the Duke of Kent, would definitely prefer Catherine to Camilla as the receiver of his family's jewels does not appear to be idle speculation. Instead, it feels like the culmination of long-simmering tensions. Why did Camilla's absence from the Duchess of Kent's burial spark royal Twitter? If you follow royal news, you may recall that the Duchess of Kent's historic burial liturgy was held at Westminster Cathedral on September 16, 2025. This ceremony was the first Catholic royal funeral attended by a reigning British monarch since the Reformation, making it a watershed point in British history. Notably, Queen Camilla was absent from the ceremony. Buckingham Palace reported that she was recovering from acute sinusitis, which is a very plausible excuse. However, the internet did not reply quietly. Royal commentary boards, fan accounts, and YouTube channels were flooded with speculation. Why did Camilla miss one of the most historically significant royal occasions in decades? Why did she miss this historic event, which had King Charles III attending a Catholic Mass for the first time in contemporary royal history, alongside Catherine and William and the entire Windsor family? The explanation of sinusitis was insufficient for many members of the royal observing community. In the world of royal speculation, absences are frequently seen as crucial signals or remarks that allude to unspoken difficulties. When Camilla's absence at the Duchess of Kent's burial was combined with persistent conjecture about the Duke of Kent's supposed jewelry preferences, these two narratives were intertwined in public discourse. Questions arose. Was Camilla missing because she felt unwelcome in the grieving family? Was there animosity between the Kent family and the current Queen Consort, complicating her attendance at the funeral? These questions now lack verifiable answers, but they are being asked loudly by the hundreds of thousands of people who closely follow the royal family. In today's media ecosystem, the questions themselves have become part of the narrative. What does palace protocol actually say, and where are the loopholes? This narrative is intriguing since royal inheritance, particularly for private jewelry rather than sovereign jewels, may be rather complex. The ambiguous sections are where the Duke of Kent's wishes, if any, may be acknowledged or ignored. The crown jewels, which include the imperial state crown, orb, and scepter, belong to the nation, not to any individual. Nobody inherits them in the usual way. However, the private jewelry collections of royal family members differ. These items are purchased, gifted, or inherited, and might be included in private wills or family agreements. Family members' informal authority also plays an important role. Queen Elizabeth II frequently directed where her jewelry would go via informal routes, such as a private letter or a conversation. People respected her requests because of her position. The Duke of Kent, a senior member of the Windsor dynasty, adheres to this practice. If he expresses a clear desire, even without formal documentation, it carries tremendous weight inside the family. The key concern is whether King Charles and Camilla will grant this wish. Palace sources have not responded, and their silence typically speaks much in royal affairs. What this indicates for Catherine's future as queen, and why it is relevant beyond jewelry. Let us take a step back. This is not just a narrative about jewels, it is about much more. Who the British royal family genuinely belongs to and who will look after it in the future. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has encountered one of the most difficult problems in modern celebrity life. Prior to her marriage, she endured years of scathing tabloid stories. She handled the stress of becoming a queen with little planning. She experienced the public consequences from William and Harry's breakup. She faced her cancer diagnosis with courage and dignity, which moved the entire country. She has remained strong in the face of adversity, crises, controversy, and tragedy. She persevered. Importantly, she has done so without sacrificing the qualities that make the audience adore her. She seems to genuinely care. Jewelry and regal tradition encompass more than just ornamentation. It reflects significant ideas. When the Duchess of Kent donned Princess Marina's Cambridge sapphires, it conveyed a sense of belonging. When Diana wore the lover's knot, it communicated her identity. When Catherine wears Queen Elizabeth's pearls, it represents continuity, faith, and the transmission of a legacy. If the Duke of Kent considered entrusting his family's historic items to Catherine, making her the next keeper of that tradition, he was emphasizing what many members of the public have long believed: Catherine is the future. She is the one who will bear the weight of the crown with grace and power. She is the lady the monarchy requires. Camilla has also played a part. She worked hard to improve her image despite difficult circumstances. She has been steadfastly loyal to Charles. However, royal history takes the long perspective. The diamonds, those gorgeous, historically significant jewelry, frequently make their way to the women who advance the monarchy. If the Duke of Kent truly conveyed this wish in his closing days, he may have simply stated truthfully that the future has a name, and it is Catherine. We may never know what was said in those private moments with the Kent family. The palace will not confirm this, and the family is likely to remain mute. However, royal history is frequently exposed in these silences: gaps between official announcements, jewels worn by some but not others, and mysterious absences at funerals. If you found this story interesting, please share it. What are your thoughts? Does Catherine deserve the Kent jewels? Is Camilla's claim stronger? Please let us know your opinions. Subscribe for more information about the royal family. Because as long as the palace holds its secrets, we will continue to inquire.